Computer. All right, and let me share my screen and then we'll get going. Hello, Kitty. Cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's February 9th, 2023. This is the Kubernetes Cluster API Azure weekly office hours meeting. We are a project under the umbrella of SIG Cluster Lifecycle. And as such, we abide by the general Kubernetes community rules, which you're probably familiar with. But if you aren't, it basically boils down to be polite to everyone, try to be kind. People have different levels of expertise and familiarity, so keep that in mind and try not to talk over one another. We try to use the raise hand feature if you can. If you feel like adding your name to our attendee list here, please do so. And with that, we'll jump right into it. If anybody's here for the first time and wants to introduce themselves and say what's going on, I will be quiet for a second here, and please go ahead and unmute yourself and say howdy. I think everyone is a familiar face, but all right, let's move on. So for open discussion, we need to do a patch release today, hopefully, but we have several good fixes in there. I don't actually know what the CI status is. Seems like it's gotten better, but I just want to put that out there and see if anybody has any objections or news. Cecile?
Yeah, do we want to take this opportunity to do a quick like checkup on the test grid dashboards to see where we're at? Because I know there was a lot of the Calico Helm chart got a lot of our tests read at the beginning of the week, but I think we should be recovered now.
Let's do that.
So it'd be good to see if we're in a good place.
I'm trying to get there. But this guy is making it very challenging. No. All right. Oh my God. Test grid. There we go. I should have this bookmarked, but instead I do this slow navigation every time.
Me too. It's a good exercise to see if you still remember where to go.
I guess. There we are. Oh, it's not looking good at the high level. Yeah. Well, okay, that's reassuring. So I've had 2 passes on main, which kind of corresponds with what we fixed, so that makes sense.
Willie, go ahead. I don't think.
Sorry, go ahead, Willie.
Oh yeah, so there was like a test that I noticed that was failing 100% of the time. That's in, I think, optional EDE.
Yeah.
I think I think it's related to VMS's Flex, so I wasn't sure if it's the same like API change that was messing it up, or yeah, I just wanted to see if you knew about that.
Sorry, watch me navigate while I'm waking up here. Yeah, just related to that, as far as I can tell, the Flex API actually broke or changed in a way that broke us. And so I'm proposing we can just skip that test for now, because I don't think there's a way to fix it within the next few hours.
Okay.
So this might work around that damage, but unfortunately. Oh, and which test is that optional?
I think it's just an EDE main. And it's periodic? Like that one.
Yep, there we go. Yeah, this is the kind of not clearly named Flex test, and it's been failing since they changed the API here. Actually, it was not that steady before, but here's one I also, yeah, so okay. So that's a known issue. If we essentially skip that test, I think that's all we can do in terms of triage right now.
What's going on with the release 1.7 one that's red? Is that the same failure? The other red test or red dashboard? The CABZ periodic E2E.
Over here.
One.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is probably the same
Yeah.
test.
That's the
Yeah.
same test. Okay.
Yeah, and so I've got it ready to cherry pick back into this branch, so that's probably all we can do for right now. I don't think I'll be able to fix that today. Cecile?
Yeah, while we're at it, just note that the dashboard organization has changed a little bit. So now it's like release 1.6, release 1.7 have their own dashboards since we're testing both release branches that we're still supporting or backporting to. So you might have noticed before you say v1 beta 1 and then v1 beta 1 minus 1, which was not always straightforward. You have to kind of go look at the test to remember which branch it was actually testing. So hopefully this makes it a bit easier to navigate. Thanks, Ashutosh, for suggesting that change.
Totally. Do we want to drill into any of the rest of these? Unfortunately, they look sort of routine to me in terms of flakiness.
I think a lot of the flaky signal still hasn't recovered from the Helm or missing Helm chart for Calico, unfortunately. So
Yeah,
as long as the last few runs have been successful.
that generally seems to be what we're seeing. Something else here, machine pools. This is machine deployment. This ought to be something that was fixed. Well, I don't want to drill into everyone, but yeah, it's a little hard to get clarity here because we had a lot of unfortunate noise based on the Calico Helm chart going away. So are we ready? It's not clear. We have a couple things that we might want to merge, and it feels like we ought to get more signal. What do you think, Cecile?
I think we're ready. So I just sent the PR link. So the 1.3 CAPI bump version bump that we were waiting for, that just merged like literally 5 minutes ago, the cherry pick version of it. So I think that was the last one. I don't think we should block releasing on a regression in the Azure platform for VMSS Flex or a change that might be causing the issues, just because I think like otherwise we'll end up just holding other bug fixes that we have right now that people are waiting for. So I say we just release today and then we make another batch release next week if needed for Flex.
I agree. I was just wondering if we wanted to merge the skipping of that broken test for the patch. It's not strictly necessary. We could just ignore it.
We don't need it for the tag. We can merge it in the release branch to make the tests happy, but I don't think it changes anything for users, right? It's not user facing, so.
Not really. And presumably users are not all over VMSS Flex yet anyway. It's fairly.
Right.
So, yeah.
So yeah, does that sound good to everyone else? Cool. So I was thinking either after this meeting, if we end early, or in an hour, starting a Zoom on the Slack channel for anyone who wants to watch me cut the patches or help.
That's good. I will try to be there. Okay, so let me just summarize that real quick. Looks like we're ready. Going to do the patch dance after the meeting on Slack. Okay, Cecile, do you want to talk about whatever this link points to?
Sure. Yeah, so there's this email that went out to the dev, Kubernetes dev group mailing list yesterday, and essentially it's a small change in the bot that helps contributors on the Kubernetes repo. Essentially before it was suggesting an approver every time you open the PR, which would kind of cause people to just assign an approver right away as soon as the PR is open, even if it hasn't gotten any reviews yet. So they will no longer be doing that. And the process that they are suggesting that the project moves towards is that reviewers who already get automatically assigned to PRs that get open help triage the PRs and review the packages or part of the code that they own. And then that after that, like, doing that first pass review, it can then help assign, like the reviewers can help assign the right approvers when they're ready, the PR is ready for approval. I think the idea that they're trying to, like, the main reason for this is I think Kubernetes committee right now has like not enough approvers for things. And so they're trying to protect approvers' time by like making sure they like get to PRs after they've been kind of done like a code review on them, and they can just like have less iterations on them. So I think that's the idea. This is more for the Kubernetes repo specifically. So it does affect us in terms of like the change to the bot will also affect us. But yeah, I think we're already kind of doing this in practice in our repo. But I just wanted to like kind of use this as an opportunity to maybe discuss a bit how everyone sees this working in our project, and specifically around like, it's not very clear whether we do like one approver, if one approver LGTMs and approves the PR, that's enough, or if we always try to strive for having at least 2 pairs of eyes on every PR, or if it's like, if it's a small PR, it's okay, but if it's a bigger PR, then, because all those rules are kind of implicit and there isn't really anything written down about it. It's kind of just etiquette. So yeah, I just wanted to see if anyone had any thoughts on that, and if there's anything we should improve or change from what we do right now.
Ashutosh.
Yeah, I mean, this makes sense to me, but I just have one question, but this is a PRAO or the bot question. Let's say one of the approvers approves a PR and it's a big PR. And if we want to have like one more approver to take a look at it, like, will the PR get merged meanwhile we wait for the next approver to approve? Like, let's say Cecile approves a PR and then we want Matt also to take a look. And there is, let's say, time gap of 2 days. Will the PR get merged meanwhile? How does that happen?
Yeah, Cecile.
Yeah, that's a good question. So in CabZ, we've disabled the feature that an approve also means an LGTM, or sorry, an LGTM also means an approve if you're an approver. So that means, what that means in practice is like, if I write LGTM, it won't add the approve label unless I explicitly say /approve. And I personally will not use the /approve label until I'm like, no, it's like ready to merge. Like approve for me is like the very last step that should happen. Tests are passing, other reviewers have looked at it, other approvers have also looked at it that I wanted them to look at it. So it's really like, this is ready, let's merge it. So if in this specific example you gave, if I like review something and it looks good to me, but I still want Matt to take a look because I think he might have some other perspective that I missed, then I will say /LGTM /assign Matt. And then that's kind of an implicit signal for Matt to also say, okay, once I've reviewed it and I've approved, I should put the approve label.
Thank you, Cecile. Yeah.
I am totally unable to find the raise hand button when I'm sharing, so I'm going to be rude and just jump in. What you were saying previously, it's okay. So my perspective is I really like 2 sets of eyes on every PR, unless it's pretty trivial, and we all kind of know what that means. And then there's some cases where it's just more expedient for you or I or Jack or whoever to just say LGTM approve in one step. But I think those should be rare, because even potentially very simple looking PRs, there might be some subtlety that I'm not aware of. And so it's always better to have, even if it's kind of a no op or whatever, I feel like it's almost always better to have Ashutosh or Cecile or someone look at it as well as me. And then what you were talking about, Cecile. And so sometimes in the past, that has definitely led me to look at a PR, LGTM it, and then walk away thinking that, hey, one of the other maintainers will pick this up because we're all good, responsible people. And since it's already got an LGTM, they'll put the approve on it. What happens very often is that people don't have enough time. And so Cecile's gesture about, I've LGTM'd it, now I'm actually going to assign it to one of the other maintainers and they can get it over the finish line. That's a really good thing to do. And that seems to have sped up our process a little bit. So I think two people should ideally look at everything unless it's super trivial. And we should be in the habit of assigning to each other so that things move along. That's my opinion. Any other feedback on this? There is a fair amount of wiggle room, you know, around what Tim is talking about here. So, or Ben, I mean, so it's kind of up to us to establish conventions within the project too. Cecile.
Yeah, just to add, I think another implication of this is also that we need more reviewers. I think it's just like it has to be there has to be more reviewers than approvers for this to work. Otherwise, it doesn't work because then the reviewers are unable to keep up and they have too much load. And there's a good reminder in this email also. It says reviewers, lost it.
Sorry, bad time.
No worries. Reviewers do not have any additional powers beyond any other community members. So this just like is a good reminder that everyone is a reviewer as long as you're a member of the org. Everyone can add the LGTM label. The people who are like marked as reviewers in the repo, it's more like they are recognized as like having, you know, knowledge and expertise of the code base, and they automatically get assigned to PRs. But that doesn't mean that others can't, you know, do the reviewer role essentially.
And if you're interested in actually being an official maintainer, that's the best way to do it by far, is to start reviewing some PRs. Yeah. Okay. Anything else about PR reviewing we want to talk about? All right, we can move on. Ashutosh has a public service announcement. Go for it.
Yeah, so discovered sometime back a issue in private clusters. And what I found out was that one of the control plane nodes did not have that etc host, data that we do in post qvadium command. Essentially, we put the DNS pointing to loopback address so that, any pods or the, control plane, CAPI system pod that's there on that particular node is able to talk to Kube API server. But there is a race condition that somehow, is not, because of that, somehow etc/host does not has that data. And because of that, we are not able to reach to API server. And this has to do something with the way containerd started. There is something known as notify in containerd, and there was a bug in containerd sometime back. So I'm already collecting my thoughts. So what I'll do is I'll file a PSU with a detailed write-up so that we know what's going on there. But this is definitely something that we are hitting. Maybe just did a PSS if anyone else is. I see there is a current workaround that posted.
Oh, that's just what we're doing right now. Sorry for the hairpin issue.
Oh yeah. So
But
for the hairpin. All right, got it. Sorry, Cecil, go ahead. It was just a lag.
Oh no, go for it. I was done.
Yeah, so one way is that you restart all the container pods right now. And another way is that, we could have a dummy interface created on the. So the way we deal with it right now using DNS is a little tricky. We need to like think about how to fix this in a more solid proof way. Yeah, I don't have much details. It's just that this is what I knew about, and you know, I'm looking into it. So thanks.
Is this a problem? Does this boil down to an actual problem in like container D somewhere? Is there eventually going to be a root cause fix, or is this something we have to work around forever?
Yeah,
or you don't know yet?
I don't have an answer like how we are going to fix it, but I don't think it's a regression. So it's like it has been broken if it's broken since the inception. Yeah, but just like take this as a light information as of now. I'm still researching into it. Also, you know, Nadir was helping with this one, so we have like some discussion going on also. I'll paste more details when I have them in an issue so that we all can look into that together.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks for digging into that. That's been a fairly flaky test, and maybe we've never drilled into it that hard.
Yeah, it's not that highly reproducible. If you're unlucky, I mean, if you are lucky, it's reproducible.
Right. Cool. Any questions about that? Anyone has? That's all we had for open discussion topics, unless somebody has something last minute. We can do milestone review if people are up for it. If I can click on this, what is going on? There we go. So 1.8 is a little less than a month away. So really that means 3 weeks, right? Or less is when we should be targeting these things to be done. We don't want to, because none of our PRs merge in a timely fashion, as you're all aware. So give yourself some lead time. I don't know if we want to dig into all these because there's a bunch, but Cecile, have you even had time to look at out of tree stuff? I know you have that PR out there, but
yeah, so that PR is like blocked right now on the Windows nodes using out of tree. That's not working. We have an open issue that we looked into a while back, couldn't repro, but I'm definitely reproing it now. And I have a potential like fix. I don't want to call it a fix. It's more of a workaround in the Helm chart for cloud provider that's open as a PR. The more long-term fix is to use containerd 1.7 once it's out and host process containers. So it's going to be a bit tight, to be honest, like because it's a huge PR, but I'm hoping I can get that cloud provider PR merged by end of this week and then get the PR ready for review beginning of next week.
cool. Yeah, just shout out. I was gonna ask Ashutosh about this, but he dropped off. This, I need to look at the mech thing again. Well, basically, if anybody has any, if anybody thinks any of these should change their status, go ahead and yell it out. Yeah, Willie.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention like the allow for configurable scope in system assigned identities. It's been LGTM'd, but it's just waiting on like an approval or another review. So if anyone wants to take a look or has the time, I think, yeah, it's been LGTM'd, so just needs another pair of eyes.
I'll look at it today.
Yeah,
sorry.
Thanks.
Sometimes you need to kick me. It was.
Hey everyone, the PR add Linux OS custom configurations is also ready for another round of review. John and Willie, thank you so much for the initial review. I did a major refactor over there, so please take a look again.
Definitely. Thank you. Mhm. Okay. If nobody has any other call outs here, I guess we ought to maybe take a look at new issues and see if there's anything that is screaming out for inclusion.
I kind of want to look at that first one because I think
Yeah.
that's a bug and I think it's an easy one to fix, but I haven't had time to look at it yet.
We put it on the milestone, or is that too optimistic?
Yeah, let's do it. And then
All right.
if we can't get to it, we can bump it to at least the next one.
Milestone name?
It's
Release.
V1.8.
Oh, it's just V1.8. I'm getting confused with the branch. Cool.
Should we put the private cluster end-to-end test one in there? That was the last one on that page because I know Ashutosh is looking at private clusters right now and that bug that he's looking at. So maybe that's something. I don't know if that's too optimistic. Probably not actually, because he still has the workload identity. Yeah, no, I think we can probably wait until the next one for this.
But not worth piling on Ashutosh while he's gone.
Yeah, I think, yeah, let's not, especially.
Right.
But I think you want to do this anyways as part of his bug fix. So that's why I was saying, but
Okay. But we'll not hold him to
under
that.
promise, over deliver.
Right, there you go. Next, so we've triaged, we've already been through most of these. Looks like.
Are any of the VMSS flex, like what's tracking the flex failure issue? Is that in the milestone?
It is. Yeah, this one. Yeah, it's this one. So this is the main tracking issue, although I don't have one for the fact that it's all broken now. This was a more specific bug.
I think
Yes,
Willie opened one for that actually.
Right. Willie added that, so that counts.
So maybe
So
we should,
between these two, we've got it covered, and this should go in the milestone. Reuse intermittent nil panic. This was, yeah, we looked at that last time. Okay, I think that's the newish ones that we haven't looked at. Are there any PRs that are? So this is, I don't know if I need a milestone that. This probably should go in the next one. Yeah. Come on. What's going on? There. These dependabot ones we should just close because it's going to keep opening that same thing. I'll do that. I'm not sure what's going on with this.
I believe that one needs to be reviewed. I had one comment that I think was addressed.
Okay.
Oh, or I guess it's failing tests. Okay.
Well, it might have. Yeah, we might have run it during the time where everything was failing too.
I'll
so
take a look.
maybe it's not its fault. Should I add that to the milestone, or is that too?
I think the issue for it might already be in the milestone, actually. Yeah.
Okay, well, that probably covers it then.
Sure.
And then maybe subnet name support. This can probably go in the milestone, don't we think?
Yeah.
Why does my back button not work? There we go. These two we can look at. I don't know if they're critical urgent. This has been sitting out here for a while and is not that consequential, so probably needs another review. Did Mark weigh in on this? Well, anyway, I'm going to add this to the milestone as a way to make me. Oh, we're waiting for Mark. Let me put this on the milestone. Okay, and then which ones have we not? Work in progress, do not merge, work in progress, do not merge. What about this one, Willie? Do you think?
Yeah, that one's basic. Or there was like one round of reviews and then I updated it. And now it's just waiting for more reviews.
Well, let's make that happen. Although we're probably shouldn't be taking on too much more work at this point since we only have a few weeks left, but a lot of things look very close to completion. All right, well, I think let's leave it there unless people see anything else that's crying out to be added. It looks like the rest are works in progress or things we've already looked at. Agreed? Yeah. All right. That's all we had written down. Anything anybody else wants to discuss? If not, we can call it a day. Keep an eye on Slack where Cecile's going to start doing the patch releases and we can join her and help or just applaud if we want to. And
Or boo, you choose.
yeah. All right, well, thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
You bet.
Thanks, Matt.